Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospect Central 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
My name's Jace.
and we're going to be coming back with part two of the Jared Goff film, because unfortunately my computer just decided to not work. So, yeah, there's an issue with the end of the video, but anyway, we got through an hour or so, which is actually, honestly, a pretty good cutoff, I think. An hour, part one,
I agree.
half hour or so for part two.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna end up watching the rest of some more Jared Goff with you guys and kind of just going over our summaries and going over the final details and rehashing some of the most important details and emphasizing some things that we think we need to really push and go over and help, as one of my friends says, control the narrative, starting Jared Goff. So, with that said, Jace, whenever you are ready to pull up the rest of the film from where we left off. And I believe we were in the middle of the Kansas City game from
Should
2018.
be. Am I sharing my screen?
Yes, you are.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's get right into it.
So, kind of just going over a little bit of summary from what we saw in the first half for those of you guys who are maybe seeing this later or another day or whatever it is. Things that we saw, we got to see pretty good arm strength. We got to see really good ball placement. We got to see some touch accuracy, really good precision balls, tight window throws. We got to see a lot of play action and motion, different formations and sets, all different kinds of plays off of platform, on the move. We got to see quite a bit of his mobility just in general. And of course, we got to see uh, some of his decision making and reads and mental traits. So, anything else that you want to add to that kind of collection?
No, not really. He's from what we've seen from the first thing that we watched to now, he's obviously gotten better as a quarterback in the NFL, but he's also just seems sharper and just more on point. And this is 2018, so this is 2 years in. Excuse me, 2 years into the McVay. So this is his second year there. Yeah, because 2017 was his first. So it was his second season there with McVay. So he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable in this offense. And I mean, as you can see here, they're 9-1 and tied with the number one Chiefs at this time. Good throw. So another thing I like about Goff is you don't see his really slow down to get the ball from him ever.
Oh, and that was the other thing too, is the mechanical elements we got to talk about.
Oh yeah. The pocket awareness, the footwork. I mean, yeah, while this ad plays, Jared Goff, like coming out of the draft, like we said before, was easily the best, like the most pro ready quarterback of his draft. But really, he was a lot more pro ready than you see most rookie quarterbacks at that time. Even from the little bit of rookie film that we watched, that one game or two games, he played really well that year in terms of the games that he did play. And that's with Jeff Fisher at the helm, so that tells you a lot. That was a great ball. See, this is something that's really underrated here that most people wouldn't be able to notice. Not most people, but your average football one. Wow. Get it back here. Okay. So the ball placement here, like we were talking about before. Oh, what the heck? Okay, it's not going to do it. Anyways, he placed the ball exactly where you wanted it to go. He didn't put it in the numbers like most people think you want it to be. He put it in front of the receiver so that his tight end could catch it with his hands and run into the ball instead of having the ball come to him and having to stop for it. So that's just a little thing that, a little wrinkle in that play there that really helped.
And there's
That's
some
his
mobility.
Wow. Way more mobile than that. He looks way more mobile here than I thought. Just the way that he sees and takes off.
And a nice cut,
And
too.
it's like, yeah, it was.
3rd and goal.
hmm Guys, right now we're seeing exactly why Jared Goff was included in this trade to Detroit.
And why he went number 1. And why Brad Holmes loved him
Exactly.
so much.
Exactly. Yeah, let's just skip through this Mahomes.
Shout out to Mahomes and Kelsey for being on my dynasty team. I
There's
have
another
no idea
screen.
how my dynasty team is so bad. I have like freaking Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelsey, Matt Prater, Buffalo defense, and I lost in the 2nd round of the playoffs.
Oh, wow. Well, if it makes you feel any better, in my money league, I had Saquon Barkley, and he was injured. He was my number 1 overall pick,
Mhm.
and I lost in the 1st round, and that's the only money league I have. And
Oh,
I I traded for Todd Gurley and Julio Jones like weeks before, like a week before the playoffs, and they both just shit the bed
oh my
in every way
God.
possible. And it's not like I gave up like a 4th round pick for him. I think I gave up a this year 2 and a future 3 for Todd, and then a
Jeez.
player and a 3 for Julio. So it was just like,
Gosh.
man. And Gurley's the one that really shit the bed. Like he had 0 points, and he was actually playing. Julio was injured. Wow,
To
he
be
was
fair,
so wide open.
if you're in a dynasty league, Julio should be fine for you with Arthur Smith.
Yeah, and I traded for Odell, and he's injured. So I mean, which next year my team coming back is gonna be really nice. And I got Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins on that team.
Ooh, okay.
I actually traded for J.K. Dobbins. Good ball. Oh,
Oh,
I see. He had to come back for it a little bit there. Oh, damn.
yeah, and it was low.
Yeah. But here, I mean, 44 to 40, 10 minutes left. Delivers that boy. See, and that's the thing too is he, like we talked about already, he doesn't have elite arm strength, but he can get the ball downfield.
Yep.
Like we seen that one pass where it was like 60, 65, and I mean that's good arm strength. That's definitely above average. That was a good pass right there. Good bullet. Put that right where it needs to be. I'm gonna see if I can pause it right. Ah, shoot. Double.
So one thing that might help is, do you know the hotkeys? So what you can
The
do,
what?
the hotkeys. So what you can do is you can push pause to or space to pause, and then the right and left arrow to move
Mm-hmm.
forward and backward.
Ah. Oh, okay. I see.
That might help a little bit.
Oh, yeah. That definitely. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see. Okay. But yeah, that's a great angle of this right here. I'm gonna start this from the top and pause it. Okay. So like you talked about before, they like to do a lot of tight sets, which here they have, I believe that's Josh Reynolds, but still he is in tight.
Yep.
And then Jared Everett. But I think Everett's who this ball goes to. Yep,
Yep.
right here. And see, this is the thing. You got
That's
this guy.
great timing.
Yeah. Because you got these 3 guys looking right here at Goff. He's already winding the ball up. They are not getting there. He's literally facing this
The other
direction.
way.
All he's worried about is this guy right here. He just fits it right in there. And I mean, really, on that throw, too, you're kind of worried about this outside safety just because of the fact that, yeah, he's a little outside, but this ball, yeah, your receiver's here when you throw it, but he's going to catch it here.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's just a great throw.
Yep. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .. .
Good throw. Look at the formation here. Tight left. Boom. Great throw.
And the other thing too that actually I'm surprised we didn't really talk a whole heck of a lot about is the ability.
Mhm,
So go back to the last play real quick. The ability
mhm.
to lead and hit receivers in stride.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really talk about that. That might honestly be probably my favorite area of Goff's game in
Mhm.
total. He does a
Right.
really nice job of putting his guys. I think actually it was we did talk about it a little bit with the the Tavon Austin touchdown
Yeah.
in his rookie tape, but the ability to
Mhm,
really get guys and lead guys into space to be able to create and maximize rack and add the
mhm.
ability to create those yards after the catch. He excels in that aspect of his game. That's probably one of the things, if not the best thing, about his profile.
Right.
And that all traces back to the timing. It traces back to the touch. It traces back to the ball path. It traces back to the placement. All those types of things that go into that accuracy and the mental traits kind of combining into one to
Right.
really maximize his receivers.
See, in this one right here, like we just were talking about, his ability to lead his receivers,
Yep.
but also one of the things I've really noticed specifically on these sideline and end zone catches is the ability to put it where only his receiver can get
Yep.
it.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, this is you could say this ball is a little high if you want to nitpick, but he knows his tight end can get there to that ball. But he also knows this safety's right here. So if he doesn't put that a little high, there's a chance that he can tip that and intercept it. And that's the little things that you pick up, and that just make me I'm slowly falling in love with Jared Goff. It's like I really do think he could be not maybe not the answer, but he could at least be. Oh my
Oh man.
gosh.
And there's again that leading the receiver downfield element, hitting him right in stride.
And the touch is tremendous. And I mean his throwing motion isn't the like prettiest thing. It's not ugly by any means, but it's good and it's quick. Man.
And the other thing too is like just I don't want to spend too much time on the comparing Goff and Stafford element because I think it's fair to
Yeah.
say that Stafford is better, and that's why we got Goff plus in the deal for Stafford.
Right. Yeah.
But the one thing that Goff does better than Stafford to me is that touch element and being able to throw a catchable football.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. The thing we always heard about Stafford throughout his career was the fact that a lot of his receivers get injured, like their hands get hurt and their fingers get broken because he throws the ball so hard.
And drops. The
Yeah,
Lions are
yeah.
number one in the league, I think, or number two in the league because of Pittsburgh, in
Hmm.
drops this year.
Right. And I mean, that's never good. And
And
that's
even
that's
and,
been
and
his whole career.
yeah, and even guys with solid hands, they don't have those issues. Golden Tate never had that issue in Seattle. Marvin Jones didn't really have that issue in Cincinnati. Kenny Galladay is basically known for his hands, and he's had plenty of
Right.
drops. Danny Amendola never had drops like his 10-year career between the Rams and the Patriots. All of a sudden, he can't catch a ball. Eric Ebron,
Right.
okay, yeah, he's had drop issues. Good for him. Uh, TJ Hawkinson, I don't think he had more than one drop his 3 years at Iowa. He had what, five last year?
Yeah.
So that's been a very common problem. No matter how good your receiver is, no matter who's how good your hands are, and Goff doesn't really have anything remotely close to those struggles because he finds that balance between
Hmm.
velocity and spiral and getting the ball on time and on target, but at the same time making adding that touch element, adding that accuracy,
Right.
and throwing a catchable pass too.
Right. And this film is from this year's game against the Cardinals. We
Okay.
already watched one game against the Cardinals. I think that was 2017 or 2018. Um, but it seems Goff plays pretty well against the Cardinals usually. Here's a good dump off screen.
Well, and it helps that they play the Cardinals more
Yeah,
than most teams too.
true.
So there's an element to game playing and
Right.
nice
Good
stepping
step
up.
up. That was beautiful. Oh my god. Like his footwork. I'm drooling. Empty.
Yep, you're right.
Boom.
Oh my goodness, the windows though. Like
Oh, oh my lord.
we talked about like how oh my gosh, like he throws to all these receivers that are always open because McVay this, McVay that, but at the same time he makes these throws.
I mean, look at that.
That's a
The
Matthew
just
Stafford
where
throw.
this that like honestly,
That is a Matthew Stafford throw.
and you could not place this ball better. You
Nope.
could not do it. And I've said that 5 times already since we started watching this. Like, man, he shows real flashes. Here's one thing we have to remember: we're watching highlights right now. We're not
Oh yeah.
watching full game. So I
Right.
mean, I gotta temper my own expectations because I'm sitting here like, holy crap, Goff looks like a legit franchise QB, but there's a reason he was included in a deal with 2 firsts and a third for Stafford. So
Yeah, and the other thing that we're doing too is we are also looking at 2018, 2017,
yeah,
a little bit of 2016 and 2015. And the fall off of Goff's play this year uh, was, I don't want to say dramatic, but
hmm
he was not as good this year
oh
as he was in the past. And part of that goes back to his relationship with McVay deteriorating and their whole um, chemistry together, and the fact that McVay is at this point starting to get a little tired of Goff. Uh,
right,
and the Goff contract, I like Jared Goff. I really do. I have him, I think, 11 in my quarterback rankings. They overpaid him. There was no
hmm
way he was worth that much guaranteed. So the
yeah,
contract element is definitely iffy. On the other hand, for us, we're also getting him a much more reasonable deal. We're getting
yeah,
him, I think, for 25 over 2 and then 20 for the 2 after.
right,
So there's an element there that it makes a lot more sense for us than it did for the Rams. And then,
yeah,
of course, the Holmes side, and basically Holmes was Goff's advocate. He was the guy who
right,
basically drafted Holmes. He was the guy, or Goff. He was the guy who basically traded up for Goff. At the very least, the biggest voice in the room and his biggest supporter. And now him
right.
and Ray Agnew also are both in Detroit as well. So
Mhm. And
I think,
that yeah, that definitely helps when you're like you said they Holmes drafted him, so he knows what he's getting. He
yep.
knows the downfalls. He's seen him in practice every day. He's seen him against that Rams defense every day. Like you get familiarity with players, and also that also means he knows him in like locker room standpoint, like how he is as a leader and all that kind of thing too.
And going back to when he was a scout, right? I mean, I'm sure
Right.
part of his research and vetting was talking to Goff during the pre-draft and talking to his
Mm,
college coaches and talking to maybe his high school coaches and doing all that pre-draft vetting.
right.
So there's a little bit of a familiarity, even beyond what he was with the Rams, too, that I think kind of helps
Right.
give comfort and stability and adds to that. Okay, we know what we're getting. He's consistent. He's shown us this. What he was in college over his 5 years in LA, and that element to it, too.
hmm Yep. Again, I want to say this game is from this year, so that's just a little thing
Nice.
I wanted to throw in there. But this play right here, the way okay, so you can see he looks at his first read, not there. Second read, boom. I just really like the placement of this, the way he
Third,
comes off
actually.
his first read. What was that?
Third. So watch these at
Third
the.
read.
Yes, so you're going to see at the start of the play, if you go back,
hmm Oops.
it's going to be very quick. Watch right there.
hmm
Boom. Starts left.
Oh, yep.
And then he progresses middle, and then he goes back left again.
Who would be? Oh, here, right here, 81. because he was running a little bit of a whip route. Yeah, see, boom. I mean, and that's one thing that we've been talking about with these rookie quarterbacks that like Justin Fields or Trey Lance and even Zach Wilson at times is they don't get through their progressions well.
Yep.
So if we do draft a quarterback, Goff is a great quarterback to have in front of these guys because he, like you said before, is your prototypical quarterback, great IQ, and he gets through his progressions really well and quick.
Oh, that was a nice fake toss. Get it out. Yep.
Mm.
There it is.
Wow.
Good stuff.
He's aware. He's aware where the line of scrimmage is. He's aware where the defender is. This is just amazing. And one thing that I wanted to point out real quick. Okay, so this guy had just jump in the air to try to get this ball, but this other guy, Devondre Campbell, right here, the way he throws this ball is just absolutely perfect. Just out of reach of Devondre. Boom. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Touch. Oh my gosh.
Right over the top.
Beautiful. Could have threw it. Could have thrown it a little bit more in the back corner, but I'm not gonna be mad at it. It's a completed touchdown.
Yep. So, for those of you guys who are in fantasy leagues, we talked a little bit about the fantasy type thing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody out there who listens to this video who has the ability or the potential to acquire in some facet TJ Hawkinson, do it.
Yeah,
Do it
for sure.
immediately. Even if not just because
For
of
sure.
Goff and just Hawkinson's upside and his ability as is, do it. Unless you have Travis Kelce or George Kittle, you want TJ Hawkinson on your fantasy team. And even if you do have TJ Hawkinson, or even if you do have George Kittle or Travis Kelce, you can still play Hawk at flex. And he will
Yep.
get you, on average, probably about more than half a touchdown a game. And he will probably get you about 50 to 75 yards on average a game. Do it.
I can attest to this. I have TJ Hawkinson in most of my leagues. And I actually have him in a tight end premium league where I have him and Travis Kelce. And I'll tell you what, Travis Kelce and TJ Hawkinson by themselves have scored 100 points in fantasy.
Yep.
That's just insane. But that's also tight end premium where it's like a point and a half per reception, an extra point per touchdown, like all that kind of stuff. So in normal leagues they would have scored like Hawk would have had like 28 and Kelce would have had like 35. But still, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Hawk's only what, 24? 23?
That's the kind of stuff that I think everyone can get excited about, golf or not.
Right. This right here is just amazing. The way he navigates this pocket, it almost looks like a sea parting for him. Like just the way, and it has a lot to do with it's really good blocking on this play too. But
Yeah.
just the way that this area, he just,
And then the placement side,
yeah.
the only spot or the only guy who has a chance of getting that pass is Cooper Kupp. Like, that was great coverage.
And then here's another thing I really like. This is a QB sneak, obviously, and he just throws his body in there.
He's
He is
probably.
not worried.
I was watching some stuff when we first traded for Jared Goff, like
Mm-hmm.
before we started this call, before
Mm-hmm.
we started the first part of the call, and that is a consistent thing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times on just like regular film or highlights I've seen Jared Goff complete a sneak
Mm-hmm.
very easily.
I believe it. And I mean, like we talked about before, he's not a small guy either. Um,
Want to
there's
watch
just
the
like
movie?
2 or 3 more that I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch
Ooh,
the
wild card.
this game, the Bears game and the Patriots game. Oh, and the Bucks game, and those are each like 3-minute videos. So there's like 4 or 5 left. And this one here is the first week he's back after his injury. So they played the Seahawks the week before this without Jared Goff. And here like we talked about, they're in Seattle also. So again, 2 weeks or a week and a half. Well, I guess 2 weeks from a dislocated, broken finger. Oh wait, I think this is John Walford here actually.
At the start, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he took over, I think, like 2 or 3 drives into the first.
Yeah. Damn, I thought this was the Jared Goff highlights. Come on.
It will be gone because this is the wild card game. So yeah, like this is Jared Goff.
Here we go.
Of course, that's a handoff.
Oh my gosh, Cam Akers. Right now, Goff is 4 for 8 for 98 yards. Touchdown. Oh, did they have the ball again? No, they stopped him here. Out of his own end zone, a minute left. They're probably just going to run the ball.
Read option.
Oh. Cam Akers is so good. He's going to be running the ball every time, it seems like. Yeah.
And that's basically a throwaway on 4th and 2.
Oh, of course it's an ad. But, yeah. That's life. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh, got crushed.
So
but
okay,
we're still seeing the boys.
So let's go back and let's kind of see what happened. Do you know how to slow down on YouTube?
No, I do not.
Okay, so there should be a little like 3-bar, like a 3 dots on the bottom right corner.
Don't see it.
What's to the left of full screen?
It's the left. Play on TV, theater mode.
Oh, so it's under settings. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, playback speed.
And then yeah, you can do half, quarter, whatever one you want. And that way we can kind of slow things down a little bit for just to play, so we can kind of analyze and see what happens that leads up to this. So it looks like what they're going to do actually is on the right side of the line. Play it for just a second. So right here. What they're going to do is they have these 4 guys, and then the center moves over to double. So what that does is that leaves 3 guys rushing on the 2 offensive linemen plus the running back. So keep playing a little bit more. And then pause. So you see what they do is they overload. The running back doesn't do anything here. Look at where the running back is. So because the running back backs up instead of steps into that protection, like Goff is most likely expecting, what that does is that creates that 3-on-2 situation, and then the guy gets free. So I don't know if that's a miscommunication with Goff not picking that up, or if that's a running back just not blocking, or what happened to specifically over the course of the communication element of the play. But something happened where the running back went to the outside of the right tackle, and the defender came inside.
Yeah, I feel like
because look at 34.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you, but in my personal opinion, having coached running backs, I feel like that is just him assuming that the right tackle is going to stay inside and that the DN is going to start to come out and that there's 3 here. So he probably assumes, okay, right tackle is going to pick up. This guy's twisting in, so it'll probably be like a boom, boom, boom. But the right tackle goes. So yeah, it's just a miscommunication between those 2 guys. They really didn't know who they were supposed to block with the stunt that they were shown.
So how much of that would you say is on Jared Goff?
It's really, really hard to say if I'm being honest, because it could come down to, it depends on who handles the offensive line shifts, which I would assume is the center, because 95% of NFL offensive lines, the center is the guy who tells everybody else what to do.
Okay.
Could be on coaching, because they could coach. They couldn't have, or maybe they didn't throw that into the game plan. Like, they didn't tell them what they're supposed to do when they see this specific stunt.
Gotcha.
I would honestly say it's least likely that that was Jared Goff's fault, and most likely that it was just a miscommunication between, really not a miscommunication, but just, yeah, the running back just not really knowing exactly what the right tackle was going to do, and he just guessed wrong, pretty much. Come on now. Oh, interception.
Okay, nice rollout.
And again, I mean, good rollout, good ball. And this, like we said again, this is with a broken finger, and he didn't even start this game. That's how Sean McVay felt about him in practice. He didn't, excuse me, he didn't want to start him because he thought his injury was too bad.
Yeah, he gave
And
Wolford
here
all
he
the
is
second
beating
team, or
the
he gave
Seahawks at home, throwing. That was a good touch. That's a good.
he gave Wolford all the first team reps that week.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, if Walford plays the whole game, I don't think they win it. But that's just my opinion. Because I just done, like, when they were playing with him, you could just feel the Rams play calling being very passive.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a lot of running, trying to get play action all the time. Which I guess Jared Goff does that too, but he's a better quarterback than Walford, so he does the better job here. All right, well, let's just start on a different one. I wanted to do the
Super Bowl game versus New England.
Oh yeah. No, this isn't the Super. We can watch that one, but the one that I have isn't the Super Bowl. It's the one afterwards.
Ah, okay, interesting.
So, yeah, this is this year.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I watched this one or not, actually, because we didn't have any Pets prep. We didn't play in 2020, so.
Mm-mm.
Nice.
Fourth and goal. Again, throwing his body around.
Yeah, he's really good at that sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Call Joel for me. Joel's on this phone. We should trade bread.
Yep.
Huh?
There you go. Good dump off. You know what? Actually, the one I really wanted to see. There's two more that I really wanted to see. I wanted to see him beating the Bucks, and then him playing against the Bills, and that's it.
Okay, sounds good.
I just really wanted to see how he does against this Bucks defense.
Hello?
Good pocket presence.
Hello?
Wow, Cooper Kupp making something happen.
Yeah, and I think that for all we talk about, like how the Rams supporting cast is pretty good, I think part of that is because Jared Goff puts them in pretty
Right.
good positions, specifically as we talked about after the catch.
Mm-hmm. And here's another thing that we can't really know, so we haven't talked about, his adjustments, like on the line, his line adjustments. I wonder how that goes. Like, how many of these little wrinkles and stuff, obviously it's probably 90% McVay. But how much of this stuff that's happening is because Jared Goff was like, oh, hey, run this route, like change your route to this, so because
Audibles.
this coverage, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So I just wonder how, which we probably will never know. But. And again, this Bucks defense was really good this year.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had spurts where it was like at least not that good against the run, but it's always pretty good against the pass.
Called her cell phone. I want her home.
So one thing about the Bucks too is they're very young on defense, young and fast.
Yep.
Good ball. That's to Van Jefferson too. Boom.
Yeah, Todd Bowles did a pretty good job with, again, as we talked about with the Spagnuolo thing with Kansas City. We talked about the aggressiveness with the man coverage, with the blitzing, all that stuff. That's also something that Todd Bowles does quite a bit as well. I think he was the other guy, along with Spagnuolo, that was top 3 in cover 0 and cover 2 man. So he's definitely familiar with these different coverages and knowing the weaknesses and strengths of all of them.
And like we've talked about before, something we keep seeing over and over and over and over again is Jared Goff completing against the blitz over the top through the middle every single time. Boom. That was great right there. The entire play right here is franchise quarterback. This speaks franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Steps up, sees the guy, spins out, makes a move, turns his body open as he's running to the left, plants and throws, and finds his guy. Great throw. In between. It wasn't in between, but there was 2 defenders within the area. Good pump. Oh.
So yeah, he knows how to spread the ball around. He knows how to read defenses.
Mm-hmm.
The route timing.
I think it really.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Pause that.
Down to his IQ.
So go back for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. I want to see if you see what I'm seeing.
What's that?
Okay.
The blitz?
No, take a guess. Oh, you went too far.
Oh,
Nope, there it is. Yep. Pause it.
Here?
Yep.
I just see a shit ton of dudes on the line. And they're in tight.
You're close. So take a look at the scoreboard. They're in 3 tight end set. With Everett, Munt, and Higbee.
Right.
So again, he has the flexibility to be able to play 2 tight ends, 1 tight end, spread, 5 wide, empty, open, all these different things. And the comfort level and familiarity with being in heavy sets, with open sets, with wide sets, with tight sets. He can run anything that you need him to run. And this out of gun too. Obviously we've seen him quite a bit under center. So like you want him in gun or under center, he can do it. You want him in pistol, if we want to run that, I'm sure he'd be just fine in pistol. You want to see him in empty, he's just fine in empty, feels comfortable with the protection there. You want to see him in close, heavy, anything. He has the flexibility and the familiarity and the comfort level with running any single thing that you could possibly want to run. Wanted to emphasize that, especially because I don't know how often we talked about it in the second part.
Right. Great point, though. Because that, like you said, that just opens up. And like you said earlier, I believe this was in the first part, Dan Campbell has said he wants to get his guys in the right points with mismatches. And if you can have a quarterback that can run every single formation possible, then you'll be in even better shape.
Yep.
Call Joan home.
See, this right here I don't like. Because it looks like he just sticks on his read. It looks like his first read is a little bit, oh shoot, went back a little too far. It looks like his first read, I think, is Woods here, right here. but he doesn't like it, most likely because of this linebacker.
Mhm.
So I would assume, and I don't love the fact that he just sits here and waits for Cup to get open. His eyes are just on Cup, on Cup. I mean, he does find him and he's open, but it's just a little nitpicky thing. And again, this is from this year too, so.
That was a great sell.
Oh, yeah. Take that back. Oops.
So good at selling those fakes, both motions and play action.
Yeah. Good rollout. See, that's the thing with Goff is he's not super athletic or like fast, but he's mobile enough, just enough to get the job done on those rollouts and stuff.
And the other thing
Okay.
that I really want to kind of bring up real quick too while you find the next video is that
Mhm.
yes, we're watching highlights. So there's some
Right.
elements of these are his best plays and everything else like that. But that doesn't necessarily take away from the potential and the physical tools. Like it's not
Right.
like just because you're watching highlights, he's all of a sudden gotten super fast. Like
Right.
this is stuff that he can do, no matter if you're watching full game film, if you're watching regular film, if you're watching terrible film. He still has that same level of mobility. It's not like if you're watching regular film, he's going to get super slow and be Tom Brady.
Right.
Like, so there is some, and the same thing goes for arm strength, right? So, like, it's not like all of a sudden he just has a noodle arm if you're watching regular film.
Right.
Like, it's not like he just all of a sudden loses his arm strength. Like, yeah, if he's playing hurt, he might have less arm strength for that particular game or week. But, like, it's the physical tools don't really fluctuate like that.
Right.
So part of the weaknesses, like for example, I've seen him compared to like Philip Rivers. Like, no, the dude is
Mm-mm.
so much more
Nope.
mobile than that. Like, if you're watching highlights or regular film, he's not a statue in the pocket. Or I've seen him
No.
compared, like, and the same thing goes for arm strength. Like, Philip Rivers' arm is actually not good
Yeah,
this year.
it hasn't been for a long time.
Yeah. Jared Goff has shown, even on highlights, but again, you don't lose that arm strength. And even on regular film, the bigger thing with arm
Right.
strength is the velocity side. And being able to hit those tight windows and zip the ball where it needs to be. He has shown that so many times over so many games versus so many different teams over several years.
Yep.
So I get the whole okay, yeah, you're watching highlights thing, and if this were like a draft prospect, where like okay, yeah, we're watching like the best that this guy could do, and he's only been in college for 1 year, then fine. That's why I don't do highlights at all on our channel for college players.
Right.
But like okay, so some of the things are generally going to get worse when you watch regular film. His decision making probably not as good as it may be on highlights. His accuracy and ball placement may not be as consistent as we're seeing on the highlights. But the
Right.
physical tools don't change, and we are seeing what he can do at his best.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
that's what we're talking about potential here. It's
right,
not necessarily what he is right now. He's also still 26 years old.
exactly.
So I mean, the fact that he can do these things
Yep.
shows that, like we said multiple times already, that's why he was picked number one. That's why he was given $100 and some million, and that's why we traded for him.
Yep.
I mean, if we didn't want him, we would have not had it. We didn't need to put him in the freaking deal.
Yep.
Like, I don't think they gave us an extra first because we took Goff.
No.
I think what happened is they offered us a first and a third, and we were like, we had all these other offers, and we were like, okay, since you don't have a first this year, give us an extra first, and we want Goff. And they were like, you know what, we have to because it's not like Goff's going to get traded for anything anyways, and the money, we needed to do it. Because if not, you had to cut him, basically.
And in cutting him, the debt cap associated with that, I think it's $65 million.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, yeah. So even worse. Like, you wouldn't even been able to do it. So it's just one of those things where I really do feel the Lions wanted Jared Goff,
Yep.
like specifically. Maybe not like, oh, we want Jared Goff over so many quarterbacks, but in this trade, I think Jared Goff was the tipping point because honestly, if Brad Holmes has the choice between the eighth overall pick this year and like a third round pick next year versus two firsts and a third from the Rams, he might take that pick this year just because it's the eighth overall pick, and the Rams likely have a really late first round pick. Who
So,
knows?
so
But
the other
Jared Goff changes it.
So the other thing you mentioned is like, okay, we may not want him over this quarterback or that quarterback or whatever.
Mhm.
Here's the thing you have to consider. A lot of the quarterbacks that we wouldn't take Jared Goff over aren't available.
True that.
Mahomes not available. Rodgers, yeah, even if he
Right.
is available, we're not trading for him in the division. Russell Wilson
Exactly.
not available. Josh Allen not available. Deshaun Watson's probably not leaving his no trade clause to Detroit, even if he is getting traded. Lamar Jackson not
Right.
available. Kyler Murray not available. Stafford obviously got traded from here. Tom Brady,
Right.
yeah, no way. Baker Mayfield, maybe. That's a question mark at this point for me if I have Goff or Baker. Matt Ryan, I'm
Right.
taking considering the contract and the age, I'm taking Jared Goff over Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
Derek
same.
Carr, maybe. If you
That's
want to.
tough, but I think because of age, I would take Goff because Carr's 30 now.
Oh, he is? Okay. Then, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking Goff too. Dak Prescott is a free agent who's probably getting 15 plus million more than Goff is per year and guaranteed.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill probably not available, even if we did want him over Goff. Herbert not available. Burrow not available. Tua not available. Cousins not available, even if we wanted him over Goff because he's in the division. Big Ben, yeah,
Right.
no way, not at his age. Even if he wanted to come here.
And I feel like at this point, that's about even a couple of the last people that you picked, I still would have picked Goff over in terms of just age and even play at this point. Like Ben
In
Roethlisberger, I think
contracts.
Goff's a better quarterback.
I think Goff is way better quarterback. Yeah, I have Goff around the same tier I have Baker and Derek Carr.
Yeah, I would
Everyone
I
after
would
that
say
is.
Goff's yeah. I would say Baker's not significantly better than Goff, but enough better than Goff to where you would have to include like it would have had to have been like this Stafford trade if you wanted to get Baker and if we wanted to get Baker instead of Goff, we would have to give up two firsts and a third and Goff to get Baker, I think. Maybe not that bad. Maybe it's more just like a first and a third,
Right.
but I think Baker's good enough more well let me say this right way he's better than him enough to where you wouldn't be able to just do a swap. You'd have to actually give up a decent amount of draft capital in order to get Baker. So
And then
and I
the.
think he's
Oh,
2 years younger.
yeah. And then the other guys that may actually be available are Jimmy Garoppolo, who obviously San Francisco didn't even offer a trade for
Right.
Stafford. Drew Lock, who Denver turned down including Drew Lock in the deal, by the way. That
Wow.
was one of the reasons why they didn't end up making the deal on Stafford is because we said we're first and third in Lock, and they said no, we're not including Lock. Mitch
Hmm.
Trubisky, who is a free agent, who I'm not taking anywhere over Goff. Cam Newton,
No.
who's a free agent, I'm not taking over Goff.
Oh,
Teddy Bridgewater, who Carolina
okay.
also refused to include in the deal. They said, "Screw you, Stafford. We're only giving up 8 and a fourth." Uh,
But why would they want to keep Teddy? They're paying him 30 million a year.
no idea.
Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yep. Gardner Minshew, yeah. Goff for sure. Sam Darnold. Honestly, I
Mm,
think we probably gave up less for Goff than we did for Sam Darnold. I think the
yeah.
value of Darnold at this point is higher. Goff is a better
Yeah.
quarterback.
Mostly because of that contract, because Sam's still in his rookie deal technically.
Yep. And then Carson Wentz. I'm
Hmm.
certainly, as we've
Wouldn't take him.
talked several times, taking Goff. And then you
Yeah.
have the mediocre, okay, Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, Robert Griffin III, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and none of those guys I would take over Goff.
I wouldn't even really consider it. Right, so,
No.
okay, you have.
Jameis is the only one that's even close, and that's I'd have to see him play because of LASIK.
Yeah.
And I still don't even think I would consider it.
So, of the quarterbacks who are available, meaning, okay, Deshaun Watson's unrealistic, meaning, okay, are you paying Dak more than 10 million more a year than Goff?
I wouldn't do that, no.
Okay, are you paying Cam Newton, Mitch Trubisky,
No.
or any of the free agents? $5 million.
Here's the thing. If we are trying to draft a quarterback and we can pay Cam or Trubisky or somebody like that $5 million a year, yeah, I would do that. But that's only if we're planning on trading up to get a quarterback, or just if one falls to 7. But that's a hypothetical. So right now, I would say no, I won't. Like, in terms of better player, Goff is better than them.
Yeah. So just from so we would take all these guys like Mahomes and Rodgers and Wilson over Goff for sure. But
Yeah.
out of the realistically acquirable trade or free agency options, I personally think that Goff is the best available quarterback that we could have for 2021.
Yep. I agree. Now, here's my question for you.
Mhm.
Do you think would you rather have, like, starting in 2021 as our quarterback, Goff or Trey Lance?
Goff. I think
Taking into account the contract
yeah,
also.
yeah. For me,
Okay.
it's Goff. I think that Lance is going to be
Goff,
better. I think that Lance is going to be better in 3 years. Sure.
right.
But at that point, and even that's probably questionable because at that point, Goff is still going to only be 28. And we don't
Yeah,
know
true.
what Lance is. But I think that the
True.
potential for Lance is higher than the potential for Goff. But the
Yeah, I
floor
would
for
agree.
Goff is so much higher than the floor for Lance
Yeah.
that I'm perfectly content with paying Goff. Now, if we were to draft Trey Lance at 7, I would be okay with that,
Yeah,
as we
same.
talked about in the first part.
hmm
The question becomes, how high do we want to trade up? And I say
Right.
not at all.
See, and my next question was, would you let's say a trade up is not necessary in this situation. How about this? So let's say we didn't get Goff in that situation, but instead we got like an extra third, right?
Mhm.
Let's say we take one of the firsts and that third and pick 7 and move up to 2 or 3 for Justin Fields.
Ew.
Would you rather do that or have Goff
Goff.
and what we have?
Not
I
even,
would too.
not even
I would.
close.
Just the extra first round pick and the third round pick just doesn't make it that much different, because right now I don't think Justin Fields is. I would say Justin Fields right now, in my opinion, is a better quarterback than Goff, but at the same time, we're comparing a college player to an NFL player. So
And
I would probably take Goff at this point in terms of talent.
this might be a little bit of a hot take,
hmm
but personally, for the Lions system and the way that I envision us playing, especially knowing now that we have Goff, I think
Right.
that Zach Wilson is probably quarterback 2 over Fields.
Really.
I think that there's a little
So
bit. I think that there's a little bit more consistency there, and
yeah,
Fields has the higher flashes.
yeah,
But with Wilson, and of course, there's a little bit of the competition factor element in there. Um, but I feel like one of the biggest things for me, I may be overemphasizing the importance of 1 or 2 games, but watching Fields versus Indiana scares the crap out of me.
right.
Whereas I didn't necessarily see that low of a low point from Wilson.
Yeah.
And like even Wilson's worst games weren't that bad. So I feel like there's a little bit more of that consistency element with Wilson. And some of the mechanical elements, like we talked a lot about with Goff, right? The mechanical elements with Wilson's release is scary fast.
Yeah.
That dude gets the ball out lightning quick. So some of the mechanical elements I think are a little bit more advantageous with Wilson. And he's a little bit more polished in terms of day one. I think that Fields is okay, he has the bigger arm, he has the size, and he has the potential to run with the power and so on and so forth. But with Wilson, you get a little bit more of that accuracy, that consistency, that placement element that makes him a little bit more pro ready on day one. So I think that knowing that Holmes liked Goff in the draft and now, that Wilson would probably be a little bit higher on our board than Fields would be.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, everything you just said makes a lot of sense to me. I honestly haven't watched enough of Zach Wilson's film yet to really have a conclusion on him, so I can't offer my own with that, but I would agree with everything that you said. pretty much. But you want to get right into this one?
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty.
Unless you have anything else that you wanted to add before we started.
No. Oh, that's good.
Great
See, and
touch.
before we started, I don't. It was on the it was on the screen for a while.
Mhm.
It said that the Bills ranked third against the run and 20th against the pass.
Mhm.
So we will likely see a lot less play action, and the play action likely won't work as good against this defense.
Bills are a conference championship team this year. And the only reason
Yep.
they weren't a Super Bowl team is because they played Kansas City.
Yep.
If they played Green Bay or Tampa Bay, I would probably have taken the Bills.
Oh yeah, me too. Definitely over Green Bay. The Bills are one of those teams, man, that are going to be really good for a while.
McDermott and Bean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, we're seeing the same things we've seen basically this whole time as we're watching Goff. The touch, the pocket presence, basically everything you ask for from a starting quarterback.
8 of 10. Well, now he have 11 because he missed a throwing completion. But prior to that, he was 8 of 10.
Oh, well, they're down 21-3 too, so we should see a lot of Goff. Threw a pick already though. And that's one thing with Goff too. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I mean, he's not like top 5 or anything in terms of turnovers, but he keeps his interceptions under like 15 every year. I think his worst year was 16, and that was first year of McVay, I'm pretty sure.
That would have been 17.
Oh, yeah. No, like he had 16 interceptions.
Oh.
Yeah. And then like this year, I think he had 13, and the year before, the year before he had 10.
Let's see if I can pull up this thing. Yep, he's had 1 year over 13.
Open that up for me.
Gotcha. And that's not bad. I mean, really, as long as you're staying under 15, you're a good QB, I'd say. Good throw here. The way he steps up in the pocket just barely fits that over a finger. Wow, that's Tre'Davious White, too. Wow. That's something you don't normally see out of quarterbacks anymore. The ability to turn around, not know that anybody's there, see the guy, and just barely get that's Stafford-esque, like we were talking about. Just barely get the ball around him. Touchdown. Good ball. I honestly think his best the way he chooses to attack the field is intermediate over the middle.
Yep. And the charts would showcase that too.
That's his favorite.
Yeah, and the charts would the throwing charts and grids.
What was that?
The throwing charts and grids would indicate that also. That's probably been the one area over the last 4 years that he's been the most consistent.
Gotcha.
And part of that is because he trusts his tight ends.
Right.
Everett and Higbee, and even to some extent their running backs too.
I mean, for a while, Tyler Higbee was top 5 tight end also in terms of fantasy points. And I mean, I don't think Tyler Higbee's like a slouch or anything, but he's not as good as Hawk. He just doesn't have the same talent.
This says more about Hawkinson than Higbee, though. I think.
Right.
Because I still have Higbee like top 10-ish.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, that was a lot of fun, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about on Goff first?
No, not necessarily.
Cool.
No, nothing comes to mind.
Sweet. So, with that being said, do you have anything you want to plug or share or whatever about yourself?
Just go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Jace O Sweet. That'd be JACEOSWEET, and that's about it.
Nice. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Learned a thing or two along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this over the course of the coming days, weeks, and months ahead, especially as we approach draft time. Already been posting a lot of prospect tape on our channel. So for those of you guys who are interested in some of the players that the Lions could surround Jared Goff with over the course of the next coming years, we've already done a breakdown on Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, among others, I believe. So for those of you guys wanting to check out this wide receiver class and who we can surround Jared Goff with moving forward, check out some of our other videos on the channel. But for now, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, week, month, and year. And for now, once I figure out how to turn this on, there we go. Peace out.
All right. Thanks, man. It was fun.